Brian Frost again. We're back in the Doucet Hennessy House, and we're going to do a series every day on something about the masonry business and what we're doing here in the historic masonry restoration. So I thought I'd start with mortar because it's one of the basic essentials of the whole job. It's the glue that holds the stone together. So the basic foundation of the mortar is sand. There's a pile of sand here we've brought in through the window from outside. The second main ingredient is lime. In historic times, masons would have had a lime pond, and they would burn limestone in lumps. It's called lump lime. So just chunks of limestone, they would burn it in big giant fires, and then they would throw it into the pond, and in the pond it would dissolve into a lime putty, and then they would take that lime out, and that would be their lime for the rest of their career, and probably their sons would inherit it or whatever. So and then they would mix sand with that lime, and often they would add a few ingredients that would help the lime to set, because lime doesn't set very well by itself. So they maybe crushed old brick. Also just the crud that gets into the pond, bugs and dirt and everything else, helps put impurities into it. Well, nobody, or virtually nobody, does that anymore. It's very difficult and time consuming, and so it's not usually done. So instead, in historic masonry, we're using lime. Here's a bag. What we do, it's an empty bag, but it's basically a powdered burnt lime. And then we put it in water. We put it in barrels through water, and we end up with a barrel of lime putty. It's slightly different than what they would get in the old days, because the main difference is it's pure, so it doesn't have any of those setting agents that happen by chance in the original mortars. So we need to use something to help make it set, and we use Portland cement. In the 1808, when they built this house, they had Portland cement hadn't even been invented. So now we're using the cement proportions are 2 1/4 parts of lime putty and 1 part Portland cement, and that helps it set. So, and 9 parts of lime. That's our basic mix.
Sand.
9 parts of sand. Thank you. So basically, it's pretty similar to what would have been used in the old days, with the substitution of impurities for Portland cement. It's somewhat harder than the original lime they would have used, which would have been almost all lime. But we try to match it in porosity. Ours is a higher compressive strength, but the key factors are bonding strength, which we get a good bonding strength with this. We get good porosity, so the wall can breathe and water can move through it. That's it.
Cool.
That's the basics of trying to make a historical mortar. There's other ways of doing it, like you can do the thing. Oh, another thing, there are hydraulic limes that you can use that are naturally occurring. Forget the word hydraulic. Naturally occurring limes that have setting agents already in them. They're difficult to use. They're very expensive, and they're really only in Europe. And they're used somewhat here, but this is the basic general mix in North America that it's used in historic masonry restoration, is the lime, Portland, and sand. So that's essentially what we have, and that's day one.